Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks, I'm Kayfabe AJ, and this is Kayfabe Avenue. And today I'm rolling solo. So shout out to the guys, Rich and Focus. Uh, Today I got a couple of topics to talk about. We've been on a little hiatus for a little bit over a week. A lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on. We're dealing with blizzards in New York, so it's been quite a challenge over the past few days, but a lot of stuff going on in wrestling as always. Obviously we're in the road to WrestleMania, so there's a couple of things happening there. AEW's had a couple of events over the past few weeks. Um, they're already starting to lead to Double or Nothing, which Kayfabe fully intends on going to. So we'll give you live coverage from within the building on our TikTok. So go uh, like, share, and subscribe to our TikTok at Kayfabe Avenue, as well as all the platforms wherever you get your podcast. Please like, share, and sub. So let's jump right out the gate um, with Chris Jericho. So ever since maybe let's say two months before the Royal Rumble, there were a lot of rumors about Jericho's contract being up with AEW and him possibly joining the WWE during their Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So obviously the Rumble's come and gone. No sign of Jericho. And it's been actually confirmed that he still has a situation with AEW. The clarity on what exactly that is isn't out yet, but there's rumors saying that his contract was frozen due to some time he took off previously, so his contract in retrospect has been extended. He's also took on a date. He actually has a scheduled match. So anybody who had the hopes of Jericho returning to WWE, maybe next time, maybe at the end of this contract um, extension or freeze that he's gone through, you know, as a fan, paying attention to both companies and seeing how they did a lot of back and forth, it's kind of amazing that in 2026, Tony Khan is still pulling from the Vince McMahon bag of tricks as far as freezing contracts and extending them to better suit the company's needs. Not knocking it at all, but I remember a time and place where Tony Khan was upset that WWE was hoarding people, not letting people go, or extending their contracts and claiming it as, bad business etiquette. But I think Tony's finally getting into that mode where he's understanding where Vince came from and where he needs to toe the line and where he doesn't. AEW's in a better shape. They've been out of, the downward spiral that was caused with the CM Punk stuff and the Elite and back to back things. The only thing that is probably still lingering is the injury bug, but that's happening everywhere, even in WWE. And speaking of injuries, Bronson Reed got injured this Monday night on Raw in what seemed as like a normal kind of like clothesline attack. He was trying to break up the 3 count um, between Jay Uso and I believe it was Penta. So, you know, obviously, this is just a bad set of circumstances when it comes to the vision. I think honestly they're cursed ever since the Seth Rollins injury angle. Seth Rollins fakes an injury, he's out, uses it as a way to come back, cash in money in the bank, in what was probably the biggest storyline coming out of 2025. But ever since then, it's been Seth Rollins legitimately injured. So now we lose the leader of the vision. Okay, they shift. Now we got Braun Breaker stepping up to the plate and him becoming the leader or the supposed leader of the vision. What happens? Braun Breaker tries to flip a table and ends up getting a hernia. Now he's out indefinitely. Now Bronson Reed, that's 3 out of 5 of the vision. Like, a lot of people's question right now is whether the vision can continue, whether they can salvage whatever's left of the vision. And I see it like this. I think it's better off you move on. If we don't have a deliberate timetable, like if we could get the majority of the stable back within the next 5 to 6 months, I guess you can continue with Logan Paul and um Austin Theory with Paul Heyman as the vocal piece. But I don't know. I feel like it's just a bunch of negative back to back. I think they're better off cutting their losses. Maybe they could focus on Logan Paul and Austin Theory, excuse me, becoming maybe the World Tag Team Champions, having them fight the Usos at WrestleMania. It'll instantly give them something to do. Um, having their major players out the stable injured and seemingly everything concerning the vision looks like it's in limbo now. So I hope Kayfabe sends well wishes to Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins. I hope they all could come back. But this is just really unfortunate, and I feel like it's one of those situations where I don't think it's meant to happen. I think they need to just cut their losses. It's just been too much back to back. Like if we're about to circle a year from Mania to Mania of the Vision, they probably got a good 6 months of consistency. Other than that, it's just been riddled with issues. The group itself looks good together. They just added Austin Theory just 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. So that begs the question now, who's the mystery attacker? If three out of five of the vision is gone, and then I just think it makes no sense Seth Rollins being the masked man, because why would Seth not show his face attacking these guys? I was leaning towards a Adam Pierce, but now does that make sense with Braun Breaker, who he's had deliberate issues with, now sidelined? So I really don't know where they go with this. I think it really hurt the main event scene, because the problem with Raw this year and the last year has been that they just keep repeating the same people. We got 40, 50, 60 people backstage. Start bringing them up, start stabling them up for reasons like this. We've been seeing nothing but Braun Breaker, and Seth in the main event since last WrestleMania. Now we're a month and a half away from the next WrestleMania, and none of them are healthy. There's too many people on this roster not to rotate. So I don't really see how we can make excuses for this. And you know, there's been a lot of negative feedback on Triple H and his booking, and you know what? I think that's really, you have to blame the bookers, because you have all these people to play with, to put in position, and you kind of get set yourself in these ways where it's like, all right, if the bloodline is the popping thing, only the bloodline matters. Everyone else has to weave their story through the bloodline. If it's not being woven through the bloodline, it kind of falls short. Same thing with the vision that they're doing on Raw now. Is just not working. They need to bring more people up, so when situations like this happen, we can hide it. Like, you can't hide three out of five being gone. But if we had two, three different stables active in the same time, or we had multiple villains and multiple heroes to kind of throw in these stories and bulk it up or beef it up, leading into Mania, like, we could do that. But now it's like, storyline wise, the Masked Man thing I think is gonna fall flat. What's the point of revealing it now? It's frustrating seeing things like this happen, because it's all freak situations. It's not controllable, So I don't want to throw blame too much on any one person or one entity, because at the end of the day, this is the sport. This is what happens when you're wrestling full time. So I get it. It happens. We got to be frustrated a little bit as fans, because we this storyline, we just kept getting setback after setback, man. And this close to Mania, I feel bad for Braun Breaker, who's been having a standout year. Now he can't have that spotlight that he deserved. Bronson can't have that spotlight he deserved. And Bronson's another one who just came back from injury a few months ago. So, it's a lot, but kind of pivoted from the Jericho thing into the um Vision stuff, but let's go back. I want to talk about Grand Slam Australia from AEW. So I don't want to run down the entirety of the card. I just want to give my opinion on the feeling of the card. So Tony, this is the way you should book your pay-per-views. This was a 2-hour show that gave us a lot of matches. It didn't pull no punches. The matches were high impact, what AEW normally gives you, but they did it within a time frame. And this is what we need more of, because these pay-per-views be feeling like we are being held hostage. 12, 13 matches on one card is fucking ridiculous. Now, I understand Grand Slam Australia is technically not a pay-per-view. Grand Slam is just a special show, but it proved to me that you can actually pace a show that's focused highly on just the matches, no storyline progression or anything like that, or nothing to continue from last week. This was focused strictly on wrestling. 2 hours of pure wrestling in a time frame where we can be excited from beginning to end. Do this, but in a 3-hour format for pay-per-views, and try not to put 13 matches. You can condense the amount. And this is where the critique of Grand Slam Australia comes in. My only critique was these matches, a lot of the pace needs to slow down. And I don't mean add another 15 minutes to the match. No, I mean, if I just did something to you off of a ladder, there's no reason I should be getting right back up instantly. And throughout the entirety of the match, I'm not of the excuse me, of the show, this was an issue in every single match. I'm not pinpointing a single wrestler. I'm not pinpointing a particular match. All of them have selling issues. You need to sell more. You need to sell a little bit longer. If you have to do a spot less or two to get the drama over, and get the fact that yes, the ring fucking hurts. These ladders hurt. These weapons hurt. These moves hurt. Get that over. Otherwise, I did enjoy Grand Slam. I'm looking forward to Double or Nothing. Like I said earlier, those are going on sale. They're on the road to Double or Nothing, and we intend to be there. So, you know, that's the one thing that is lacking. Like, if you want the storytelling and you want the drama focus, WWE's there. If you want the sports and the action based carnage, you got AEW. But what would happen if we could just marry the two ideas and focus on the selling and the story while giving us those same matches, Tony? Just a thought, just a fan's thoughts. So let's pivot back to WWE. WrestleMania season, like I said, is upon us, and one thing that's gonna be different this year is the Brock Lesnar Open Challenge. Now, they directly mentioned that this is an inspiration off of the streak Undertaker having his moment. Didn't need a title, didn't need a specific story. The story was the streak and people chasing that to end it. Brock Lesnar being the one to end the streak and now starting his own open challenge. I'm all for it. It makes sense because of who he is, because of what he's done. And we don't need him to come back, give us the generic bullshit storyline. Open challenge. Perfect. Um, a lot of rumors leading to LA Knight being the person to accept the challenge. I don't know how I feel about that. LA Knight's one that he doesn't need more losses, right? And it's starting to get harder as a fan to dismiss the amount of losses that he's had. Now with Braun Breaker and all these guys injured from the division, what is LA Knight doing at WrestleMania, right? So he's in this chamber. I don't know if he wins. Let's see who's actually. Let's run that down. Let's see who's actually in the chamber matches. But yeah, he's in the chamber. He's in the chamber match. But like, if you don't win, then what are you doing? So I understand if they go that route with Brock Lesnar. Do I necessarily want him to go that route? No, because I think he takes that L to Brock Lesnar. The only person in my mind that I think is suitable to accept this challenge, and we've already seen a good kind of foreshadowing of this clash of like freaking colossus is Obafemi. Obafemi instantly standing toe to toe with Brock Lesnar in the um, Royal Rumble. Obafemi instantly being overpowered. He's been booked like a Brock Lesnar. First match on Monday Night Raw, he ran through the the Viking Raiders, the War Raiders, whatever they're called in 2026, but ran through both of them. So they're booking him strong. I think it's the match. I think that's a better match than Brock versus LA Knight because just the visual of having Obafemi standing face to face with a Logan Paul. This is the indestructible force meeting the immovable object. That visual at a WrestleMania, it just makes more sense to me, and I think that's the route that they ultimately should take. But that really does beg the question: what the hell is LA Knight doing at WrestleMania? Um, what are a lot of guys doing at WrestleMania? We still got a month and a half left. We still don't have a clear path of what Gunther's doing. And, you know, I thought the AJ Styles tribute on Monday Night Raw was going to lead into a potential, like, okay, one night only, the real final match, AJ Styles versus Gunther, because Gunther would come in and maybe destroy the celebration. So Gunther did try to interrupt, but he interrupted in the beginning of the show. Adam Pierce wasn't having it, so he got Gunther pretty much kicked out the building early in like the first 15 minutes of the episode. So it's not Gunther. AJ actually came back, and I think it's finally officially confirmed. You know, people are reading into that moment at the Rumble where he didn't put his gloves down, and now we got the answer to that. So the reason why he didn't put his gloves down is because in reality they were waiting for this show in Georgia to do the tribute to AJ Styles' career, which bravo to WWE. We always praise you guys for production value and vignettes and segments, but you guys bringing back the sacrifice um, promos and stuff from the Attitude Era was like cherry on top. So AJ Styles officially in front of his wife and kids takes off the gloves, takes off his jacket, leaves it on the ring mat, and to our surprise, Undertaker comes out after all of the superstars come out. Undertaker comes out and inducts AJ officially into the WWE Hall of Fame. So AJ Styles is um well, Stephanie McMahon is also, so I don't know who's going to get the higher billing. I think AJ Styles obviously should because he's an actual wrestler. Not taking nothing away from Stephanie, but maybe co-headliners. We could do that. A male and female headliner wouldn't be a bad way to advertise this. But AJ Styles is going to get inducted in the 2026 Hall of Fame. So congratulations to AJ. I mean, it makes sense. I didn't think it was smart if he left and went to an AEW because not that it would tarnish his legacy going to AEW, but I just felt like why risk going to someplace new where you have to gain new ground in the twilight of your career in a place that you've never been. I felt like if he was gonna go anywhere, he should have went to TNA, where he got his real big start and big push and shine and world titles and everything. So it would have made sense, but pushing this to Raw so he could have his moment in front of the Georgia crowd, in his front of his hometown, family, and everything. It was a cool moment. A lot of funny things going on behind AJ. Everybody waiting to congratulate him, give him a hug, and um, it was dope. Peeps CM Punk and Cody Rhodes trying to lift Omos. So um, once again, congratulations to AJ Styles. But so these chamber matches, I officially pulled them up now. So Elimination Chamber is officially this Saturday, February 28th, from CM Punk's hometown of Chicago. And the card is the World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk versus Finn Balor. Um, I'm sorry, Finn, but I have no faith in him winning this. And I don't want to see him added to this match because he doesn't deserve CM Punk and Roman Reigns at a main event. Finn has to really earn this, and I don't know if this is going to be the breaking point for Finn, and we get some good story out of it finally. But you know, throwing sprinkling Finn Balor once in a blue moon after all these losses he suffers, or lack of defenses when he's a tag team champion, it's a little too much. I love Finn Balor. The guys, at Kayfabe, we love the Demon, we love Finn, we love the Prince, we love what he's done in the Bullet Club, but we do not love the last couple of years where he's just been booked as a fucking loser, and this guy is legendary. So start the climb. If you're really gonna do it, start the fucking climb. But we're tired of start and stops with Finn Balor. And this feels like exactly what that is, a start and stop with Finn Balor. We'll see what happens. So CM Punk and Balor for the championship. We have Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee for the IC title. I definitely see AJ Lee winning the IC title, taking it to Mania, and possibly having the rubber match between them at. Well, actually, this will be the first one-on-one because their first match was a tag team with their husbands. So we'll more than likely get AJ Lee win, and then uh, a rematch at WrestleMania makes the most sense. I wouldn't even mind if they added Natty and Maxine to the mix. Maxine in particular, actually going back and forth between Becky Lynch over the belt. AJ Lee helped her win her inaugural Intercontinental Championship, and Natty's just been whooping her ass a lot recently after training her, and Maxine obviously failing in her efforts. So back to the men's chamber, we have Orton versus LA Knight versus Cody Rhodes versus Javon Evans versus Trick Williams versus Jay Uso. So right out the bat, I'm gonna say Jay Uso's a dub. He's not winning. Jay Uso wasn't even supposed to be in this match, according to the rumor mill. That was supposed to go to Bronson Reed, but due to his injury this past Monday night, Jay Uso won the match, took the place. So I don't see Jay Uso going over. He's a tag team champion. He should be defending that championship with his brother at WrestleMania. Like I said, hopefully against Logan Paul and Austin Theory to continue this vision. Trick Williams, I don't see him winning strictly because he's still too new to the brand, but this is a great look for him being involved. Same thing with Javon Evans. Javon Evans is a gimmick. He is the guy that we're gonna see do the flips, do the dive, and give us the highlight spot in the chamber, similar to like Montez Ford. So I don't expect him to win. Then we got who might actually win: Orton, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes. Now out those three, LA Knight's not beating Cody Rhodes or Orton. Those guys are gonna go over on him. So I definitely see the final two being Orton and Cody, with Cody going over. I think Cody goes over. You don't you don't keep Cody Rhodes out of a prominent spot at WrestleMania. Not with who he's been the past couple years to WrestleMania as champion, holding it down. Should he win? I don't think so. Not at all. And there's actually rumors about this match being a multi-man match. So Drew McIntyre might have to defend not only against Cody, but there's rumors that they might involve Orton, they might involve Jacob Fatu. So let's see. We still got a month and a half to WrestleMania. I hope that's the case because it'd be more intriguing. And if Drew has to drop the title, it could be protected in a way that he doesn't actually lose himself. So moving on to the women's chamber, and this one is like for me, there's only one possible person winning. So in this match, we have Raquel Rodriguez, Kiana James, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, and Tiffany Stratton. Now, I think the obvious person who's going to win is Tiffany Stratton. Why do I say that? Rhea Ripley is a tag team champion. Alexa Bliss is in a tag team. Asuka is one half of a tag team. That's three tag team people that could be taking their tag teams to WrestleMania and have a multi-woman match for the championships. That makes the most sense to me. So that's three people gone. Kiana James, two new. Raquel Rodriguez, not on SmackDown. So I don't see her going against Jade. She has no history with Jade. There's no reason for that. Tiffany Stratton, former champion, lost to Jade. This is the rematch. This is the match that we're getting at WrestleMania. I think we could pretty much bank on that. Um, I don't know how I feel about it because Tiffy's title reign, me in particular, it made me feel a little bit down on Tiffany. I felt like she's a good chaser, but not a good long term champion. Not to any fault of her own because she's amazing in the ring, but I feel like they didn't piece the right people with her to get these feuds to actually have substance, because you ask anybody right now, I doubt they'll remember without Google right off the top of the head within 10 seconds remember more than two people in her reign that she fought against in a major way. So um we talked about AJ Styles, the Chamber. Liv Morgan officially chose Stephanie Vakir on Monday Night Raw this past Monday, and that was a no-brainer. The story's there. I think Raquel probably gets jealous at some point, maybe at Mania, cost Liv Morgan the championship, but it also be a good surprise if they stuck together and Liv earned it without any interference. But I doubt that's gonna happen because it's the damn Judgment Day. But Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vakir. I think it's time for Liv Morgan to take the belt away from Stephanie. Um, Only because Stephanie's had the title for let's say about 5 to 6 months, and I feel like she's only had two legitimate rivalries where it felt like, okay, this is good storytelling. This makes sense. So Liv versus Stephanie at WrestleMania. Um, so speaking about WrestleMania, it's a couple of things surrounding WrestleMania that's a little bit controversial. The major one being there will be no watch parties allowed. Meaning, if you're a fan that likes to go to the bar, the local bar, and you want to go see WrestleMania at a bar, if you live in Vegas, that's not happening. WWE is restricted watch parties within 50 miles of WrestleMania. Now, I understand the play. It's fucked up though. You guys are pricing people out, wondering why the ticket sales aren't going through the roof, aren't selling out like you thought it was. So your play is let's restrict other avenues for people to watch it together and in a eventful way. You took that away from the fans. That's fucked up. Um, you took that away from the businesses. Now WWE's key point when they get these cities to bid is the revenue that you're bringing into the city, is the the traffic and the fans and the tourism that you bring and you impact these businesses. Now you bring these people in, but you're telling them you can't do that though. That's fucked up. Now, will it affect me? Oh hell no. Why? Because Kayfabe Avenue will be at WrestleMania. The whole crew is gonna be there live, so we're gonna give you um footage and live feed from directly in the building both nights. So look forward to that. Like I said earlier in the show, follow that TikTok. That's where we'll be putting a lot of our in the building footage and like, share, subscribe there. But yeah, we'll be in the building. But the watch party thing is kind of fucked up. And then lastly, they're changing the NXT tradition of having NXT pay per view the weekend of WrestleMania. Now they've changed it to, I believe, March. Is it March? Let me see. I just literally just came across this news. So Shawn Michaels, Shawn Michaels is the one who announced this. Let's see, where is it? Where is it? All right, well, it's being a bitch to find. I just had it up too. That's crazy. Oh, there you go. Stand and Deliver will be now on. No, no. So the pre-sale is March 3rd. Tickets go on sale officially March 4th. But so this is gonna take place April 4th, Saturday, April 4th, instead of the weekend of the 17 and 18 where when WrestleMania is being held. So damn, that's a whole 2 weeks before WrestleMania. Um, I don't know, where are they? Where are they gonna be? If Stand and Deliver is 2 weeks, oh, so they're not even in Vegas. They're in St. Louis, Missouri. So, I guess the perk is St. Louis, Missouri gets another event that they have an opportunity to go frequent. And honestly, I don't see this as a bad thing. It's been tradition to have that event happen during WrestleMania weekend, but let's be real. That's too much wrestling in a weekend, because especially if you're a fan that's going to the events, more than likely you want to check out some indies. Which, shout out to the indies. We try to book some shows. HOG just announced a show out there. We try to book a couple of the shows. A lot of them are already selling out. So almost every show that we wanted to go to has already sold out that week. HOG, their show is the day before we arrive in Vegas. So we're obviously missing it. But shout out to the indies. You guys are doing real good on numbers um on almost every show that I've looked up. So I see this as a good thing, because a lot of times, me personally, I've avoided the stand and delivers before WrestleMania, because realistically speaking, you want me to commit, let's say 1 to 3 in the afternoon, to then watch that pay per view to like a 3 to 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, to then start WrestleMania at 7 to 8 o'clock at night. It's a lot to ask for an entirety of a weekend. So I see this as a good move. But you guys are not smooth. And let's not take away from the fact that you guys aren't selling Mania tickets like you want. So why would you hold that right before WrestleMania? You could barely sell the Manias. You think you're going to be able to sell or stand and deliver in the same city as these WrestleManias are struggling to sell out, and you have to go through backhanded ways to get the people in. So over the President's Day weekend, they had like a 25% sale. I don't know if a lot of you missed it, but that's how Kayfabe Av got in the building, because we really like 400 for nosebleeds. So now during that sale, we got in the building both nights, about 313 a ticket, but we're in the 100 section, lower level. So that was a great deal. But in normal, these prices are 300-400 for the top of the building. Like at this point, can I be in a blimp for like 100? I'd rather watch the show in a blimp than have to pay 400 to be in the nosebleeds all the way on top. And God forbid they have a lighting issue. Because well, last year they didn't have the pillars, but normally WrestleMania they do the pillar shit. God forbid they do the pillars, which I'm hoping they don't. Could be lighting issues and you're all the way on top. $400? Nah, that's crazy. But I'm hoping that they stick to the design of last year, maybe spice it up a little bit. But the Vegas football field is actually a dome, so they didn't need the pillars last year, which is a fucking plus. Because I've been to WrestleMania 35, I've been to WrestleMania 40, both nights, and when I tell you, if I could send a bazooka to these goddamn pillars and that one light in the middle of the damn pillars that blinds everybody on the upper levels, I would have bazookaed that shit a long time ago. Um, but yeah, that's all the news I have. We're gonna have another episode coming up in a few days to recap the Elimination Chamber and everything happening around surrounding that. So look forward to that. I'll be reuniting with the guys on the next pod. So look forward to that. Like I said earlier, your support is needed. It's appreciated, and we would like you to like, share, subscribe to Kayfabe Avenue on all streaming platforms. If you want your podcast, we're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're anywhere you get your podcast. We're on TikTok, which is updated almost daily. We put a lot of live footage on the TikTok, and follow the YouTube, which is the main site where we upload our videos, besides the podcast site. So, like, share, subscribe. I could do this all day. I have been Kayfabe AJ. This has been Kayfabe Avenue.